we've all had that moment. You're on hold with the council or you're stuck in some bureaucratic loop and you just think to yourself, this whole system is broken.
Oh, absolutely. It feels like it's designed to make you fail sometimes.
Right. But usually, that feeling just ends in a frustrated sigh. So what happens when someone looks at those failures and doesn't just see cracks, but sees a total collapse? And they decide, I'm not going to complain. I'm going to build a replacement.
Sounds like science fiction. But that's exactly what we're looking at today. It's a proposal called OBINexus, and calling it just a project really doesn't do it justice.
Not at all. It's huge.
Yeah, it's this sprawling mix of like a high-stakes legal case, a radical architectural plan, and some really advanced AI theory.
And it all comes from one person, Nnamdi Michael Okpala, with this incredibly bold mission statement. When systems fail, build your own.
And he means own in every sense of the word. This isn't just a business proposal. It's a blueprint for an entirely new way of living with its own rules, its own physics almost.
And the funding model for it all, that's what really got me. The startup capital is a lawsuit, a $140 million town and lawsuit against the very system it's trying to replace.
That's the first domino. The entire plan we're going to walk through today, the housing, the AI, everything, it all depends on winning this massive damages claim against local councils for what the author calls civil collapse.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we really need to break this down into three parts. First, the lawsuit itself, the catalyst.
Then the housing solution, these Uche compounds.
And finally, the digital brain that's meant to run it all, this OBI.
It's a lot, for sure. But there's one single idea that connects it all, and that's protection. Every single piece of this is designed as a shield against what the author sees as a fundamentally harmful world.
So let's start there with the harm, the civil collapse. The documents are very specific. They name councils like Thurrock and Newham.
And the grievances listed, I mean, they're not minor. The text uses this phrase, a civil collapse crisis. We're talking about things like illegal evictions, a total failure of social care for young adults.
The term that jumped out at me was legal entrapment loops.
Isn't that a chilling phrase? It's this idea that bureaucracy itself is used as a weapon.
How so?
The theory is that institutions deliberately use delay and denial to trap people.
Yeah.
You're not living your life. You're just stuck, perpetually waiting for a piece of paper.
And there's this brutal equation in the business plan that tries to quantify it. It says every £1 million in institutional penalties equals one human life systematically destroyed.
It's a heavy, heavy idea. But OBINexus wants to flip that on its head.
Right.
Their mission is to turn it around so that one sustainable home equals one life restored.
So the lawsuit isn't just payback, it's a reallocation of resources. Take the money from the system that caused the damage and use it to build the sanctuary.
Precisely, and they have a date for it. August 2025. They call it the Romford Court Catalyst. That's the moment the whole thing either launches or fails.
And that 140 million figure, it's broken down, isn't it?
Oh yeah, very specifically. It's 60 million for childhood trauma, 30 million for housing violations. They even cite a legal precedent, 5 Falcon Avenue, and another 30 million for business sabotage.
It reads more like a demand for reparations than a startup pitch deck.
It completely changes the context of the money, right?
Yep.
It's not an investment looking for a return. It's presented as a debt being collected.
Okay, so let's imagine they win. The money is secured, they can start building, but they're not building flats, they're building compounds.
And this is the Uche division. You really have to sort of set aside everything you know about standard Western housing.
The text makes a really sharp distinction between a house and a home.
It's a whole hierarchy. A hostel is just a place you borrow. A house is a structure you own, but it's just a box. A home is something you build and shape yourself.
But the compound is the end game.
Right. The compound is the self-sufficient, secure ecosystem. That's the goal.
And some of the design principles are, well, they're unconventional. I saw mentions of floor sleeping and cross-legged eating.
It's all about what the text calls grounding, getting closer to the earth, rejecting furniture. But the biggest design rule is about shape. The founder seems to have a real problem with squares.
I saw that line, squares are too predictable.
Exactly. A square is rigid, artificial. The compound architecture uses bubble designs, circles, ellipses. They call it a triplex model.
And this has a plaza in the middle.
Yes, the plaza is the heart. It's for leisure only. Gaming, relaxing, no work allowed there. Then you have these specific entrances, and the whole thing is surrounded by a bubble wrap guard.
Bubble wrap guard. It sounds like something from a shipping company.
I think it's more of a philosophy than a literal thing.
Okay.
A brick wall shatters if you hit it. Bubble wrap absorbs the impact. It's a security model based on resilience, not resistance.
Mm.
A soft barrier for a hard world.
Now, the math on the land use, that confused me. 1 acre squared equals 1 home.
Yeah, that's probably not meant to be taken literally. An acre squared is a four-dimensional concept.
Right. Hard to build on.
I think we have to interpret it as, exponential use of space. The plan calls for 8,100 homes on only 90 acres, which is incredibly dense.
But inside that dense space, there's this really strict internal structure, the life-work-breath triangle. This part I found fascinating.
It's so simple and so smart. The top floor is life. That's your living space. The bottom floor is work. That's for your projects, your services.
And in between.
In between is breath,
Yeah.
the stairs, the windows, the transitional spaces. It's an architectural rule that says you can't just flip a switch from work mode to life mode. You need space to breathe.
And there's a time limit, too, on the work part.
A 10-year limit on any single project. After a decade, you have to stop and breathe. It's burnout prevention built right into the architecture.
The building itself is regulating your well-being, which is, that's a perfect transition. Because if the building regulates the body, the OBAI is designed to regulate the collective mind.
Okay, yeah, this is where it gets really deep. The OBAI isn't just an app. It's framed as a mathematical model of consciousness.
And it all seems to circle around one very specific number I kept seeing everywhere, 95.4%.
That is the magic number.
Why that? Why not 99% or just a simple majority?
Because in statistics, 95.4% is 2 standard deviations from the average. It captures almost everything that isn't an extreme outlier. It represents an overwhelming consensus.
So it represents certainty.
Exactly. In this model, that's the threshold between what they call discord and consciousness.
Okay, so what happens when the AI's confidence hits 95.4%?
It enters the OB state. And in computing terms, the complexity drops to O1.
O1, big O notation. That means constant time, instant.
Instant access. Think of it like a flash of insight, an aha moment. Or, when you're driving a route you've driven 1,000 times, you don't think about the turns, you just do it.
Muscle memory. You're on autopilot.
That's O1. The system isn't calculating anymore. It knows.
And what happens if it's below 95.4%?
Then it's in the discord state. That's ON. Complexity. It has to actually think, to filter through the data step by step. It's the difference between knowing 2 + 2 is 4 and having to work out a long division problem.
The documents say there are 2 personas that are active during that discord state, Ize and Uche.
Right. And this is where it gets kind of poetic. Ize represents inductive reasoning, gathering all the little details. Uche is deductive reasoning, applying the big rules. When the system is thinking, those two are basically arguing.
So it's like your head versus your heart.
Or your gut versus your brain, yeah. And if Ize and Uche can't reach that 95.4% level of agreement, the system simply refuses to act. It stays silent.
Which is so different from the AI we have now. Current AIs will just make things up to keep the conversation going. They hallucinate.
That's the key. Modern AI is built to be plausible. OBAI is designed to be certain. It would rather say nothing than say something wrong. It's basically a justification for the wisdom of sleeping on it.
Waiting for your internal Ize and Uche to finally agree.
It's a mathematical model for a gut feeling. It says, I'm not certain enough yet, so I'm going to wait.
So you've got a house that makes you take a break and an AI that makes you be certain, but this is all at its core a defensive system. So what are the weapons?
That would be the computing division. And this part is straight out of a cyberpunk novel. They're not just building walls, they're building counter systems.
The entrapment by automation detection system. The name says it all.
We were talking about those bureaucratic loops earlier. This is an AI designed with, get this, 98.7% accuracy to spot when other computer systems are doing that to people.
So it's AI watching the other AIs.
It's an accountability engine. It's designed to spot the pattern of delay and denial and shine a huge spotlight on it. It's a tool to fight back against the machine.
Weaponized transparency.
Pretty much. Then there are other tools like Polycall, which is a quality assurance system, and something called BlueShare.
That was described as Bluetooth for a small group, right?
Yeah, for 10 to 20 people. It's a deliberate rejection of the global, often toxic internet. Instead of scrolling through an infinite feed, you create a tiny local network for a study group or a sing-along. It's technology at a human scale.
Computing from the heart, as the documents call it.
It really is. It's an attempt to use technology for intimacy and safety, not for addiction and outrage.
So looking at the roadmap, this isn't some far-off dream. The clock is ticking.
It's a 5-year plan. And it starts now. Year 1, 2025, is the crisis to opportunity phase. Win the court case, buy the first 10 acres, and immediately get 200 families into temporary mobile units.
Pure triage. Just stop the bleeding.
Then years 2 and 3 are about scaling up to 2,700 homes. And interestingly, they plan to fund that by licensing out the technology they're building.
So selling that entrapment detection software to others.
Exactly, selling the cure to fund the sanctuary. By years 4 and 5, the goal is 8,100 homes and the launch of the OBINexus Scientific Institute.
I think we have to touch on the personal side of this before we finish, because reading some of the source files, it's really raw. It's not corporate language.
No, it's incredibly personal. The founder talks about being banned for 24 years. He's very open about being neurodivergent, specifically autistic.
And that just recontextualizes everything, doesn't it? The hatred of squares, the need for a bubble wrap sense of safety, the AI that won't speak unless it's almost 100% certain.
It all clicks into place. If you're autistic, the modern world with its unspoken rules, its harsh sensory inputs, its hypocrisy, can be a kind of torture. Civil collapse isn't just a theory, it's a daily, lived experience.
He talks about wanting to build a space where neurodivergent people can just be free.
That's why the whole system is so total. He's not trying to patch the old world, he's trying to build a new one that finally makes sense to him, one with soft edges and clear rules.
It brings you right back to that quote from the text. I will not become what once sought to break me. I will build what can heal us all.
Yeah. It's about moving from being a victim of a system to being the architect of a new one. It's an incredible act of agency.
So, whether this project succeeds or not, whether they win that £140 million, the questions it forces us to ask are really powerful.
Especially about that 95.4% threshold.
That's what I keep coming back to. I mean, we live in a world that runs on instant reactions. We barely wait for 51% certainty, let alone 95.4%.
We prioritize speed over wisdom every single time. We're allergic to the silence of just saying, I don't know yet.
So here's the thought I'm left with. If we apply that rule to our own lives, if we refuse to speak or post online or make a decision until our logic and our gut were 95.4% aligned, what would happen?
How much quieter would things get? And maybe, how much better?
Something to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Take care.